Hello there, I am Chris Palmer. In today's local SEO tutorial for content creation, I want to cover I get common questions all the time. I want to share with you a live example. It's a newer client. We've been developing the site together. We're still working on it, but I'll be able to share with you live examples to answer these questions. So since it just kicked off as far as the live, what I want to go over today is going to be a local SEO tutorial for content creation. But most notably, I want to answer these questions. Now, before I get into it, I have to point out chrispalmer.org. chrispalmer.org for any and all of your SEO needs, regardless of whatever you're working through, content, links, PR, everything, or you just need another set of eyes, or you need some help, services, consulting, I have you covered. What I need to cover today, though, and that's what I'm going to get into right now, I want to answer these questions, all right? Very common questions, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to walk through it. It's a tutorial, step by step. I'll lay out everything. You can ask questions. Ask them right now. If you have a question, get it in there. I'll answer it for you. If something's not clear, ask. I'll clarify it for you, okay? Now, here's what I want to cover for you, all right? First and foremost, when we're doing local SEO, this is localized. I'll walk you through the process on a new site. It's a client of mine, friend of mine too as well. It's turkishrestaurant.com. All right. We have a developer on this. It's a PHP site. We're working through it. I'll share the examples live with you on a live example because a lot of times some people don't like the whiteboard. So I'll share with you live. All right. If I need to, I'll draw it out. Here's some of the things I want to answer for you with this live session. Again, we're still working on this. We just started. We've probably been working together about 3 weeks. We just got the new structure up. We're still working on the blog section. We're working on some things, but this will help discuss it with you. Okay. Now, and I'm going to share with him and you exactly what needs to come next, right? It'll be so helpful for everyone. So here's what I want to put out for you. What content should you be building? All right. Another question that I want to answer during this conversation is, well, how do I cross-link that content, right? Like how should I build this out? How should I cross-link it? On top of that, if I create a blog, what should I create the blog about? I'm going to share with you a live example, and then you can utilize these examples in your own industry, in your own niche, in your own category. All right. Then we're going to talk about where to link from the supporting content. Where is it housed? And how do I link up to my content, right? To my main pages, product pages, service pages. This is a directory of sorts. And then on top of that, well, how do I structure it all? Plus, I'll give some tips and tricks while we go. First and foremost, again, I am Chris Palmer. This is what we're going to be covering today. So let's not waste any time. Let's get directly into it. Now, I want to point out first and foremost, all right, what content to build? What content do we need to build? So for our example here, what I'm going to share with you, again, this is a client of mine, friend of mine. Well, we're friends now. The content's very simple, right? This is a directory / blog, all right? So what the plan is and what we've been developing together after we got our layout in here is what we want to do is we want to have a directory listing the Turkish restaurants. Not only that, the best Turkish restaurants. And we also want to have a blog, right? So I thought this would be a great example. I can explain it to him and to you, all right? Because we have a developer on this. So what I want to point out here is, let's come on over here. We'll go in here to our cities map. That's something we're going to be moving over. Let's scroll on down and we'll go to live cities. So what content should you be creating? All right. So for this particular instance, when we have we know that the product is Turkish restaurants, right? If we know that the product is Turkish restaurants, and when you search for Turkish restaurants, the top performing websites are best Turkish restaurants, what we want to do is the homepage, because it is turkishrestaurant.com, what we want to do is we want to optimize the homepage around best Turkish restaurants. Why? Because the website is Turkish restaurants, and on top of that, right, the website is Turkish restaurant. So if we were to do a search for Turkish restaurants, and bear with me here, because again, think about my example with your business. What is your product, right? Now, oftentimes for business owners, if you have a local business, what you're going to end up finding is that you want to have the home page being about your brand, and then you make your product pages. See, in this particular case, in this instance, it's going to be best that we have our homepage targeting best Turkish restaurants. Now, that's not inside the URL. No, that's going to be in the title and in the H1, right? You see where we're going with this? Because if I search for Turkish restaurants, right, what is being rewarded is best, best, best. Why is that? Because the best is informational content. That's why, right? This is informational content, which plays great into our play, our directory play that we want to do, right? We have other directories too, but I can share this one with you. All right. Now, I have multiple projects like this open. So with that being said, what the plan is going to be is the homepage is going to be best Turkish restaurants. We're going to do our best Turkish restaurants. And then off of our homepage, we're going to have, as I showed you before, we have a map. We're going to list the states that we provide the best Turkish restaurants in, right? So how I want to show you this is when we come over here to our live cities, you can see, right? And we're still working through this. We're working, again, this isn't PHP. It's a custom built site. This isn't a WordPress site. Things are a little bit different as you progress in your journey, right? There's a lot of different ways to create a website. But with that being said, these are each of our state pages. Now remember, look at our state pages as our product. Our product is the best Turkish restaurants or Turkish restaurants. Another word for Turkish restaurants is Mediterranean restaurants, Mediterranean cuisine. So here's the plan, and here's how you structure your pages, what content to create. That's the first question that I want to answer. So in knowing that the sites that are performing are best, our homepage, because our homepage is turkishrestaurant.com, we're going to optimize the page around best Turkish restaurants. All right. We're going to be looking for about 2,500 to 3,700 words with a very high density, all right, of keyword optimization. That's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into the particulars. With that being said, the next pages, right, this page right here, what I want to do is I want to do Turkish restaurants near me. Now, why is that? Because the next best keyword on my state pages is near me. So I want to target near me. So on the home page, I'll link to all of my state pages, but then I have the near me because I have a search plus I have a map that will get me to each of my state pages. Are you with me so far? Now remember, my product is best Turkish restaurants, right? So when I click on this, of course, it's going to take me to Turkish restaurants in New Jersey, right? Now, what do I list on my New Jersey page? Well, on the New Jersey page, of course, you want to list the cities that you provide your products in, right? Or your services. So how I want this to be structured is when I have Turkish restaurants New Jersey, I want to optimize this page around Turkish restaurants New Jersey because this is a page. If there's a page on your website, then that means that it's a valuable page. Okay, now think about this for your own industry. What's your top level page? Are you targeting more than one state? If you are, then your top level page is going to be product, or if you only have one state, it's just going to be product / then you list your cities. If you have multiple states, then the best way, in my opinion, is I'm going to have my top level page being Turkish restaurants plus state. Then when I click on a specific city, it will be / Turkish restaurants, or we can change the URL structure to Mediterranean restaurants. and then the city. So, and that's what we're starting to deploy now. So when I click on this, as you can see in the structure here, what I mean by structure is the URL structure. This is the folders, however you want to look at it, the structure of the website. Because remember, the main key thing that I want to point out to you is, what content should I be building? Well, you need to have your high commercial intent content, homepage's brand, or primary, depending on if you're in one state and what the name of your website is, right? If you're just an exact match domain, then run with it. I'm going through this same exact thing. I have a website owner that is Houston criminal defense lawyer, I believe is what it exactly is, or Los Angeles DUI attorney, whatever the case is. Of course, the homepage is going to be the primary. And then I'm going to list other cities as my product, right? Criminal defense or DUI lawyer or whatever you're doing with the city. Hopefully this makes sense to you. So, what content to build? First actionable step that needs to be taken is, well, what products do you provide? The next thing is, well, what states do you provide them in? Then we need to figure out what state or what cities we provide those particular products in. In this instance, we are doing and promoting Turkish restaurants. Excellent. We do Turkish restaurants in the state of New Jersey. We offer Turkish restaurants. And again, this top level page is going to be changed to near me. Turkish restaurants near me. Well, near me where? Near me is a huge term. Near me in New Jersey, near me in Virginia, near me in Florida, near me in New York, right? When I click on a specific state page, it takes me to the top level page. Now, your industry might be different. Your niche, your category might be different. Your product is different, but you still need a top level page that's attached to a state. State trumps city. So state comes first. So I'll have my state / well, where do you offer these restaurants in New York? Here's some of the best restaurants that are in New York, but more specifically, here's the best restaurants in New York broken down by either their borough or their city. This is the highest volume, the best places to want to advertise or to market to, right? We're doing content marketing, right? So we need our commercial intent pages first. I hope that you're with me so far. So if we're doing Brooklyn, Turkish restaurants, New York, top level is state, second level is Brooklyn, okay? You with me so far? Is there anything that I need to clarify based on the structure and the content that needs to be created? Here's the next thing. Is I talked to a gentleman this morning. I believe he was doing a scrapyard, right? He has a scrapyard. And he said, well, okay, I completely understand that we need our state level and then our city level. Also, Chris, I understand how the structure works. But how do I know what to put on those pages? Great question. How do you know what to put onto those pages? Well, Google's going to tell you what to put on those pages. Let me share with you what you need to do. Now, I've shared these two tools massive amounts of times. Why? Because I use them every single day. In order to understand what I need to have on those pages, you let Google show you what they want you to put. And here's what I mean by this. Now, I have two tools that I generally use, three, right? When analyzing, well, there's more, but for you, all you'll need is two, tops three. The first one, keywords everywhere. I have zero association. I make nothing. There's no affiliate links. I have nothing to promote other than myself and my service, right? And I'm trying to help you so you can succeed. If you need any service, I can help you with that. But my goal is to put you in position so you could start doing right. So hopefully we could work together in the future, right? So with that being said, we're using keywords everywhere. This helps me analyze search volume and CPC. Search volume is going to tell me how many people are looking. CPC helps me understand how much commercial value, how much money potentially is that keyword worth. Because if people are betting on it, then that means I could potentially make money for my clients. That's my only goal. That's the only thing I care about. Can my clients make money? That's it, right? So that's the step. That's tool one. Tool number two, we have SEO Quake. Why SEO Quake? A, it's a SEMrush tool. Two, it shares with me the word counts of the page. Along with that, the density of the entire page. It doesn't just look at body copy. It takes into account all of the density, right? It tells me word count and density. What does that mean? Well, when I click on this word, and this is what we're working on next on this site, so don't stone me for this, right? We're working on structure. We're working on content. But what it's going to tell me is what's the word count? And then it's going to tell me the order of importance of keywords that's on the page, right? In my opinion, I still believe, I know for a fact, that Google is looking at how many times you're using specific keywords, right? Not just the exact match keyword, but other keywords as well, co-occurring keywords and LSI. I don't want to get too far in the weeds. Keywords everywhere, search volume and cost per click. SEO Quake, word count and density of keyword. Next tool that I love to use is going to be a tool called SEO Pro Extension. We're building one of these so that way I'm building a tool right now. I'm building a suite at searchengineoptimizationtools.com, right? I'm going to have a suite that has all this stuff built in. So I'll never, ever, I'll only be showing my stuff moving forward. But for now, these are excellent tools, excellent tools. This tool right here is going to tell me the overview of how the site's performing, what things are missing, what I need. But the most important thing is what kind of headers are on the page and what schema is on the page. Then there's a thing called links, how many A tags are on a page. These are optimizations that have to be looked at. So back to the original question before I was explaining the tools to get the answer, right? The original question was, now that I understand the structure, right? You're with me so far? Hopefully you are. Now that we understand the structure is based on my brand, the products that I offer in the states, and the products that I offer in the cities. High commercial intent. This is exactly what I offer in the exact places that I want to target. Step number one. The next thing is, well, now that we have that, I know my structure. I know what keywords I want to target. What do I put on the page? Like, I don't even know where to start. I hear this a lot. Well, you let Google help guide your hand because you're probably not writing the content yourself. You're probably going to pay for it, right? That's the fastest, smartest thing to do because you're probably running a Turkish restaurant or you're a lawyer or who knows what you're doing, right? Anything but the mundane tasks of SEO. So with that being said, let's say, for instance, we have this page. We want to rank for Turkish restaurants in Brooklyn. Well, what's Google rewarding in Brooklyn? Let's go take a look. So we go to Brooklyn, right? All right, this is another tool. This is a geocode tool, all right? This is made by Valentin app. I don't own it. It's not mine. It changes your geolocation. It's free. Everything I've shared with you so far is free, other than the information that took me over a decade to learn, all right? But here it is for you. So with that being said, Turkish restaurants, I'm going to change it. We're going to switch. We're in Brooklyn. As you can see, look at results for Brooklyn. Great. I scroll down the page. I take a look. It's always these particular sites. So then I look. I look at this one, and then I'm going to look at this one. Who's number one, and who's the first site that looks like me? All right. You can look at more, but I'm just giving you a general understanding of what I'm looking for. Again, I generally look at the top 5 and come up with an average, but that's another talk for another day. What I want to share with you now is just the basic principles in order for you to reach success. All right. So what I'm looking at here is I'm going to pull this up. This is my site. This is Yelp. Yes, it's a directory. Yes, it's a huge site. No, it should not be overlooked. Why? Because Google's rewarding it. Google's rewarding it. Period. End of statement. It doesn't matter. This is what Google wants to see. So I need to match and mirror, but be slightly better, right? Match and mirror. And if we want to get all mathematical, I lend the mathematics to a gentleman by the name of Kyle Roof. In his original equation we've been following since the dawn of time, which is 2 standard deviations above the norm. The norm is the average amongst the top 5 competitors. That's how you figure out optimization. That's the hard way. They make tools for that. But anyway, here's what we're looking at. Here's the word count. 1,300 words. Ding, ding, ding. We look at the site that's like us. How many words do they have? 1,400. Gee, do you think it's a coincidence that they're almost the same? Do you? No. It's not a coincidence, my friends. All right. So, okay, that's the count, 1500s. Now, within that 1500 words, which is where the hard part comes, is how many words and what words, how many times need to be on that page. This is SEO. This is a whole nother talk for another day. But here's the next step, because you asked me, right? Hey, I know what pages to put in. I know how the structure needs to look. Well, what do I put on the pages? Well, you need 1500 words. In those 1500 words, what you need to know is you need to know, well, how many headers are on the page? Well, 10, that's 24, 26 on that one. Here's a site that looks like mine. That's what, 28, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 28. You want a number? You add them together, 36 plus 28. You divide it by the two sites that we looked at, and the magic number is 32. 32 plus 1500 words. That's what you need to put on the page. What do you write about? I don't know your industry. You know what I'm saying? Where do you get a writer? There's so many places to get writers from. I don't want to get stuck in the weeds. I want to take you and guide you through this process so you can reach the finish line faster. So are we both under a complete understanding right now on what you put on the pages, what pages you need to create, and how the structure lays out? Yes? The next thing is, now you know what content to add to the page, how much content to write, and how to structure the page, right? There's a whole class, I remember it in school. There's a whole class on how to structure and write your term papers, remember? Okay, put your indent here after the 6th line and all this junk, right? You know what I'm talking about? It's the same thing for SEO. The same thing for your website. Your website structure is just like your term papers in school. I need to structure it how the teacher wants to see it. In this case, the teacher, the Don, the professor is Google, right? 1500 words, 32 headers for this SERP. Every single SERP is different. Every SERP requires that calculation. Every single SERP. Then there's another calculation that has to be done. Well, how many referring domains? How many anchor texts? What's the velocity of backlinks? What types of backlinks? What category backlinks? There's a whole nother set of work that needs to be done, right? All right, I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to briefly run through and just see, but only the stuff that's relevant to the conversation because I want to progress rapidly. All right, let me see. Off topic, no sir. I'll answer the off topic questions at the very end. But if there's anything that I need to explain better, right, or expand on, let me know. That's specific to this portion of today's tutorial. All right. How do you rank for that? Good to see you. Good to see you, Michael. Great to see you. All right, let's keep moving on then. Okay. Again, if there's specific questions related to this particular time, let me know. I'll be more than happy to expand on it. So again, we're going to go back to the client's website. It's a client/partner. We are building out the current turkishrestaurants.com. All right, we just went live. We're just starting to lay out the pages. So to reiterate what we talked about so far, all right, what content to build, all right? The first set of content is homepage is generally brand. In this case, because it's an exact match and we only talk about one thing, and because Google's rewarding best, the homepage is going to be about Turkish restaurants, most notably the best Turkish restaurants. Why is that, Chris? Because Google's rewarding best, an informational intent SERP, okay? So I'm going to make my homepage about Turkish restaurants. Now, again, you apply whatever's best for you on your website. The next thing, bear with me here. The next thing that we want to talk about, see how fast that is? The next thing that I want to talk about is, well, but then what's your main products or services that you provide? It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. In this case, the product for us is Turkish restaurants. So what we want to do is we want to have, see this Turkish restaurants page? I just literally talked to the developer this morning. They don't work on the weekend. So Monday morning, he's going to come in here and this is going to be Turkish restaurants near me. On this Turkish restaurants near me page, we're going to incorporate the map. Which map? This map right here. This way, we're able to not only encompass the actual people who have signed up with us so far, right? Or potentially are going to sign up with us. We're also offering them a search functionality. And on top of that, we're going to list our top level pages. Why? For internal linking. So we're going to take this map, okay, and this search functionality and build it into one page. And the page is going to be called Turkish Restaurants Near Me. All right, you with me so far? On this page, we're going to list our top level products or services, however you want to think about it. In this case, our product is Turkish restaurants, right? So our top level page is the states. All right, I'm just reiterating and going back over, and then we'll move on to the next step. So Turkish restaurants, New York. When I'm on the New York page, well, what do I interlink to? What content do I create? I talked about that. What do I put on this page? I let Google decide. What's the word count? What's the header count? How many images do I need? Blah, 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 blah. On this page, I list in New York, well, where do I service New York? What do I do? Well, I list my cities. I'm internally linked. Okay. We also offer search functionality, right? When I go to a specific page that's in New York, we have Turkish Restaurants New York / Turkish Restaurant in Albany. That's a city in New York. Now, if you're a chiropractor, this could be Chiropractor New York / Chiropractors Albany, right? We want to get variations in the structure. And then, of course, our optimization is based on what Google's rewarding, right? And we always put our main keywords in there. Best, top, near me, yada, yada, okay? And then when generally 1,500 to 2,500 words is what we're going to write based on what the SERP's calling for, okay? So now we've talked about structure. We've talked about top level, bottom level, or parent-child structuring. We've talked about internal linking, right? We've also talked about what exactly should we put on those pages. Now, let's talk about the creation of a blog. When we had our meeting this morning, okay, with the client, myself, my developer, and the client, what we talked about was the creation of a blog. Now, a blog, in my opinion, is information-assisted selling. The blog, in this case, should not only be there to derive traffic, right? Because oftentimes SEO agencies will overload you with informational content that gets you non-relevant, non-customers, but it boosts traffic so they ensure a payday. But in my opinion, we want to build out content to support main topics, right? Now, in this unique case, what I want to do and what my idea is we want to build out supporting content that will support the main product, Turkish restaurants. But on top of that, we have a big keyword, Turkish recipes. So just because it's a blog doesn't mean that we can't target big primary keywords. So let's talk about the blog and interlinking the blog and what to create for the blog. All right. And I'll use this live site, that we're currently working on as an example. All right. So let me go ahead and share this with you. So down here, and we already talked about this particular thing. I dislike this immensely. When the dev put this in, we have blog. Now what this is going to be turned into is Turkish restaurants, right? Turkish, my mistake, recipes. All right. Now, just because it's not about a recipe doesn't mean it can't be classified or in the blog section, right? Because all this is a top level page to our supporting content, aka our blog and recipes. But inside of our blog, we also talk about our best, right? Best Turkish restaurants in Brooklyn, best Turkish restaurants in Albany, whatever the case is. Now, what my plan is and what my vision is this will be Turkish recipes. What we want to do is we want to have Turkish recipes as some of the informational content. Why? Because there's massive search volume, right? Lots of opportunity. Our plan is to launch nationally, so we don't care where the traffic comes from. We want as many people to see this as possible. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is we can create supporting content to support the businesses that are listed on our directory And we can create almost like a bidding war, because I could do best Turkish restaurants in Albany for say. I could put one business at the top, one business here. That could be a monetary value to help move position, right? Maybe down the road. But on top of it, I'm building internal links to my top level pages. So, okay, plan sounds good, Chris. How do you put this into motion? How do I structure it? And what do I do? Let me share that with you. So let's say, for instance, that, well, let's go back to our original example. This is going to be Turkish recipes. On the Turkish recipes page, we're going to optimize our blog page, Turkish recipes, for the keyword Turkish recipes. What's that mean? That means I'm going to go to the SERP and look up Turkish recipes. How many words do I need? How many headers do I need? How many images do I need? How many EA tags do I need? How many, right? How many do I need? What's the count, right? Once I know that, then I'm still going to have my articles listed, irrelevant about what they're about. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be pictures with these tags right here. The optimization is based upon the overall density of the page, the headers, and then the guidance of somebody seeing it. They're going to click on the image. They're going to click on the read more, right? You can have whatever you want. I'm going to have recipes and I'm going to have supporting content on here, right? But right now, what you want to know is, well, how do I structure on my Turkish recipes or on my blog section? How do I make this supporting content, right? Because I know that I've watched your other videos, Chris, and I know that you mentioned that you only want to create informational content that's going to support a particular product or service, and anything else can be a waste. And you're right. But let's say I did want to create a specific piece of content based on a specific thing because there's high traffic potential. Maybe I don't want to follow the program exactly, and I want to create a bunch of content. That's fine. It's your website. You can do whatever you want. So where do I point that to? Well, let's say we have Turkish recipes. Where would I create and build that content? I would build it off of here, right? So this could be your high traffic potential. My spelling's probably bad. I don't care. Potential blog. You would build it off of the top level page, okay? Which in this case would be recipes, okay? Because for this particular case, what we're going to be, those types of pieces of content would be about recipes. Why? Because the search volume is so high and there's so much to write about. Plus, those recipes intertwine with the dishes that are being served at the restaurants. It just makes sense for this site. If you were working on, say, another type of site, you would probably have something like, let's say it's a law firm. Forget this URL, forget the page that we're on, just look at the structure. What I mean by structure is this URL. If you were talking about personal injury and you wanted to create a high traffic potential blog, you would build it here. But wait, Chris, I thought I was supposed to build location-based informational content. You can, if your budget will, it can do that. Most people's budget, they just don't have the time or the budget or the resources to do that, right? They just don't. So if you're in that bucket, which most business owners are, you want to do what's right, but I don't want to spend a bunch of money. I just want to do enough that's going to bring me over the edge. The best thing to do is build your top level pages, right? And using this example, let's go back over here. In our case, the top level page, remember this. Okay, remember my top level page, right? It could be personal injury, it could be chiropractor, it could be junk removal, it could be garage doors, it could be locksmith, doesn't matter. My top level page is Turkish restaurants in a specific state, right? So I would be building my specific content. I could build it right here. I could build an informational piece of content, right, about Turkish restaurants in New York, best Turkish restaurants in New York, who loves to eat Mediterranean food in New York, where to find the best Mediterranean food in New York, how to find the best Mediterranean or Turkish food in New York, when is the best time to find the best Turkish cuisine, right? The possibilities are endless. However, I'm structuring it so it's here. Best Turkish, right? This is a blog article right here. but it's supporting my New York page, my top level page. Okay, you with me? But this URL, right, that's this blog, is actually listed in my list on this page. Just because it's listed on the blog under recipe, right? Because remember, we're going to change this to Turkish recipes. Just because it's on this page. Remember that URL that we just had? This one right here? Look at my URL bar. This, Turkish Restaurants New York / best Turkish restaurants. That could be this article right here. And when I click on it, it takes me to this URL. Now I'm in the structure and I'm internally linked over to that specific page. You can house whatever you want in your blog section, okay? But the initial blog content that you create needs to answer who, what, when, why, where, and how, or any variation of that. Answer the most common questions. Don't include it in your page. I had a client recently, right? I work with a couple law firms, couple 10, 20, right? Anyway, they went ahead. We have a practice in DC. They added all the informational content to one page. And guess what? They were trying out a different idea. They went from number 7 in DC to another number I better not say. But instead of supporting it, they put it all in one page to blast up the amount of words on the page. And what happened? They tanked. Build out your primary pages and then build supporting pages to them. After you do that, if you want to build more informational content, build it off of the primary service. Remember, in this case, my primary services are Turkish restaurants and states. Yours could be chiropractor. Yours could be doctor, lettuce grower. It doesn't matter. Put it in the right structure and then place it in your blog area. Don't call your blog blog. Call your blog that's something hyper relevant to your niche or category, because remember, we're trying to build relevance, right? And then link it over. I hope that that's clear. Let me see if there's anything I need to clarify. I'm going to go through here. Chris, long time, old friend. Good to see you, Sarge. Healthy and safe sound. Yes. I figured out what was wrong. I did an update in OBS Studio, and I forgot to add, there's a filter in there for the gain. I turned on the noise cancellation, but I didn't jack the gain back up. My mistake. Hey, I make mistakes all the time. All the time. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. I make mistakes all the time. But anyway, I have a question about Google Ads. All right, we'll get to the Google Ads as soon as I'm done with this tutorial, brother. Ask any and all of your questions right now. It doesn't matter if it's about the topic or not. If it's non-relevant to the topic, I'll answer it at the end. All right? Thank you so much. We're going to keep going on. So we covered blog content, how to create primary pages, state pages, how to create secondary service pages or city pages, however you want to look at it, and then how to create supporting content, right? As another brief example, because I get asked this so much, okay? There's no right or wrong way to do this, all right? You can build it off the root, right? You can build it from a top level and do all your interlinking. It's just harder to clean up the mess later on. When and if you start working on larger sites, the reason why I started structuring things differently and putting stuff in sidebars and in menu areas was for organization and for cleanup, right? I can make endless menus, right? I have bulk menu creator. I can create multiple menus and I can place them in certain sections depending on a theme if I'm working on WordPress, right? And what I'm getting at here is if I create a menu or a silo, because that's the objective, that's the next step here, is like, why are we doing it this way? And let me explain that, and then which will give you much understanding on the reason why I do the menus, is because, say for instance, I have website.com, right? I create / personal injury lawyer. Personal injury lawyer where? Well, we do Pennsylvania, we do Texas, we do Ohio, New York, / the cities, right? If I start creating supporting content for those cities or for the state and something changes and I'm just interlinked all over the place, I have to go back page by page by page by page and make sure that I got every link, What I mean by this is oftentimes what you'll see is people are going to go in and highlight words to build anchor text, internal linking. Madness if you ever have to go back and clean stuff up. It's so much easier to just look through your menus, find your menu for a particular silo, and go back in and make your edits. That's it, right? Like, it's just easier for organization. That's the only reason why I changed from doing flat structure to doing the structure this way, is because I get to carry relevance, plus I start putting it into menus because it's easier for organization. And let me talk about that, because here's another thing. See, I advanced over time. I've learned new lessons. I've built more tests. I have way more sites. I've tried different things. I'm doing tests. I'm working on clients. Like, I'm learning. So the reason why, other than organization, why I stopped doing the flat is because I learned if I have chrispalmer.org, right? And we're moving on to the next section, which is, well, why are we building the structure this way, right? I talked about the menuing and and why I'm doing the menuing. The reason why I'm doing the structuring is because here's what I learned. My website's chrispalmer.org, right? That's my newest website. It's one of many websites, right? It's my public-facing website. If I do local SEO, right? Where do I do local SEO? In PA, right? In Pennsylvania. More notably, I do it in Philly, okay? If I build this as the structure, the reason why I do this is because I'm building depth of concept, okay? I'm building depth. This is how you build topical relevance on the website. This is how I build authority within a particular niche. I much rather consider it depth of concept. This is depth of concept. This page supports this page. This page supports this page. Then I can build supporting content to every level. What do I mean by that? If the main page, and then we're going to talk about another reason why. You know about the menuing reason. I can build my menus. I can clean up any messes for internal links really fast because I only internal link in header, footer, or sidebar or secondary footers that I create with the menu options within WordPress. If I'm utilizing another tool, I just log in and I create a table, and then I spin out the table inside of Excel. Super easy. Let me share with you an example. We have a new website. All right, this is a friend of the family. We literally just got done with the page. We need to recreate the on-page SEO. But what I mean by create the table, it's really easy. Musto, tax and insurance services, right? .com. I think that's the right one. Here, I'll show you what I mean by building a table. All right. So, Musto tax service. Now we literally just put this up. It's just geo-modified content, but what I want to share with you is the table, because we're still, again, it's another project we're actively working on. In fact, I'm building a topical relevance local SEO training for beginners based on this website. Like, we just started working on this. But what I want to get at here is when I go to retirement planning, right? When I'm on the retirement planning page, see, this is a table. And then what does this link to? This links to the retirement planning pages that are in specific states. Yes, we need to recreate the content, but what I'm doing is I put up the content so it can age. I internally linked everything. I need to let the pages age. The only thing with SEO you can't do is speed up the clock, right? But what I can do is I can put up some filler content. In my opinion, it's just like putting up lorem ipsum or English ipsum. What we do is we create 4 pieces of content, one for retirement, one for financial, one for retirement planner and wealth management. We created those 4 pieces of content, spun them out with geo modifiers. Now we have filler content to put up so we can let the pages age. Page age is a factor. So we're going to put that stuff up so it can start building age and building trust with Google. It's not going to change. It's going to be on the same IP. We're going to get our, right, and start building links. But what we did is we built out the primary page or top level page. We built out our state pages. So when you click on, say, Alabama, retirement pension planning, Alabama. Get it? And then on this page, well, what's it linked to? Well, it's linked to all of the states that do retirement pension planning. This is the retirement pension planning silo. Now, back to this example over here. Now that you've seen one that's even bigger. Imagine this. If I have local SEO and then I have local SEO 50 different pages, how much about this topic do I know? A lot. Now let's talk about adding informational content into there. Now let's add our city pages in there. Now I have local SEO / I have my states, I have my cities, and I have informational content. All in one silo, all interlinked, only talking about one topic. Who's the most authoritative now? You understand? And here's the secondary reason why we do it this way. Because when I'm building power, power trickles down. This is why the old school guys used to build here. But see, we smartened up over time. I am old school. I've been doing this a long time, right? I love building to the homepage. But the problem, there's two problems. One, Google starts rewarding the homepage. Why? Because what people do, not me, is they internally link the homepage the most. So now internally, I'm screaming to Google, hey, this page is really important. Then on top of that, if I build external links in, now I'm getting external votes coming in saying, hey, this page is really important, right? So what we do instead, and here's another reason, unless this is dub, if I get a penalty on that homepage, I'm toast. But if I get a penalty on this page, it'll suck. Be horrible, right? Detrimental to a business. But at least I have a fighting chance. You see? You can't ever turn back. So that's another reason why I love to power stuff up here. A, it protects me. B, I'm building depth of concept. Plus, I'm going to build my links here, and I'm going to be able to power the rest of the silo. And I'm building that depth of concept, and I get protection. It's a triple win for my clients. That's why. All right? So now we've talked about what pages to create, what to put on the pages, creation of blog content. What should I put on the blog content? How do I interlink the blog content? Why do I interlink the blog content? What constitutes as blog content or supporting content? We talked about it all. Is there anything left that I didn't cover yet? Let me see. What content to build? Talked about it. How to link? Talked about it. Creating a blog about what? Support the concepts. Who, what, when, why, where, how? Support the concepts, right? Where to link the supporting content? We talked about head, foot, sidebar. You can create individual menus in those areas that's inside of WordPress. If you're using another system, I'm sure you can utilize tables. It's very, very easy. Very easy. All right. How to structure the content. We talked about that. I talked about exactly what to write, how to put it in. I mean, I can't hold the pencil for you or the pen, but we can go look at Google together and understand that, hey, the winner has 2,000 words and the winner has 30 headers. Now I have an outline. Then to take it a step further, I can look at the winner and say, okay, out of those 2,000 words and those 30 headers, out of those 30 headers, 15 of them have a primary keyword in it. Now I'm starting to fill out this. Then on top of that, within those 2,000 words, they have the word law firm 87 times. Okay, law firm, law firm, law firm, right? You can put those pieces together, right? Is there anything that I haven't covered that, images, a huge thorn. I'm literally testing this as we speak, right? In my opinion, website age dictates a massive amount of how content is uptaken based upon uniqueness. Now, in order to combat that, we have multiple things at our utilization, but I'm going to talk about two of them. One of the ways to increase the amount of page indexation, again, there's multiple ways, but this is two things that you can do that are easy in order to increase your indexation of pages, especially when you're doing big campaigns that we love to do, right? I like multi-location. It's my favorite, right? I like challenge. You know what I mean? Because with challenge, right, with huge problems, there's big rewards for me as a company, right? That's just the truth. So that's generally what I like big problems, big issues, right? But with that being said, if I want a higher indexation rate, what do? Well, you need unique images. The good rule of thumb, okay, based upon actual testing, is going to be 1 image per 1,000 words. This is a good rule of thumb. Now, I generally get lazy myself, right? Or the client doesn't want to pay what it's going to cost in order to achieve that result. So we'll usually do 1 hero image, or at least 1 image on the page, usually to break up the content, or it'll be up at the top as a giant hero. Or I'll do 1 big hero and then I'll just break it up with another one, right? So unique images. Anything ever so slight to change the pixels will cause a unique image. Watermarks, but the watermarks have to be in different areas. If I just take 1 image and put a watermark on it 50 times, that's not unique. If I just change the title, that's not unique. Now, if it's in different areas, that changes it. If I change the contrast by 1/10 of a percentage and then watermark it, we have a fresh image, okay? Plus do the title, all right? Oh, the second thing is schema. JSON LD schema markup. Now, you can do fancy stuff and put the schema inside the image. It has to be a JPEG image. Sure. If you want to spend... See, I disapprove these strategies, right? I've seen whole trainings built on strategies that are so time-consuming and unscalable. For instance, I saw a training or a video of a training where they're taking an image, changing specific data types, downloading it, and then uploading it. Like, that's insane. And if you think by adding keywords into your author EXIF data is going to sway Google, you're wildly mistaken, okay? Don't waste time doing, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I wouldn't waste time doing anything that's not scalable. If it can't be scalable and it can't be repeatable and I can't produce a repeatable result, I'm not going to do it. Your business is on the line, you know? So I don't mess around with that kind of stuff. Now there's another story though. Like, now we're in the lab cooking, right? We're having fun. We're doing experiments. We're doing testing. You know, I have a group. I like to play around with stuff. I like to see how things work. That's one thing. But that doesn't mean that that's what we're deploying in the wild or in the marketplace, right? Wildly different, 2 different things, okay? So schema markup, JSON LD, naming the entity, Clint Butler, good friend of mine. Well, a friend of mine, right? I've met him probably 4 or 5 times. I have his training. But anyway, he taught me about the hierarchy of schema markup. So there's a hierarchy. If you have a specific business, and then furthermore, after going through that training and having a better understanding, then I came to my own conclusions about it. And what you'll find is with schema markup, schema.org gives you a clear-cut understanding of not only the hierarchy. Here, let me show you. And I've shown this before, but I just want to hammer this point home for you, right? Because again, what am I talking about? Why am I talking about this? The images, there's so many AI generators out there, it's not even funny. I'm still, again, I'm old school. So like I still use Image Blaster Pro. We'll get an image and we'll blast it. We'll change the contrast by 1/10 of a percentage and then we watermark in a different area. That's how we do it. You can do it any way you want. Doesn't matter, all right? The AI stuff scares me because there's different clauses and rules and people fight me. Do whatever you want, but you need unique images, all right? Don't waste your time adding a bunch of data. Oh, I got a keyword to stick. I assure you, stuffing keywords into the author text doesn't make any difference to Google, whether it shows up or not. Like, it doesn't matter. And then the second thing is the schema. So let's say that you are a business owner. Well, you are a business owner, I assume, right? When we're talking about the schema markup, take a look in here, right? There's specific schemas based upon industries. But then I get the outlier that says, well, what if my industry is not in there? Well, follow the hierarchies of the ones that are listed and do what makes sense for you. If you don't have one that's local plumber, or here, I'll share what I mean, okay? Let's say it's attorney, right? I do a lot of attorney work, right? Schema.org is going to give us a layout. Here's our hierarchy of what they want to see, right? This is the hierarchy of what they want to see. Now, within that is specific types, right? Like microtypes. And anything that says text, this is one of the things that Clint taught me. Inside of this text piece here, that means that it's a textable. It's something that you can add. What I'm getting at here is this can massively help your indexation rate. In fact, like I mentioned before, we have a specific page where we put up the pages because A, we want the pages to age. We know that there's an age as a factor. It's the only factor we can't hurry up. So we put the pages up with geo-modified. We know we need to optimize the content. We know we need more content. We're fighting against freaking, like look up wealth management and you tell me, right? Like it's insane out there, right? But what I'm saying here though is you set up your pages based upon what Schema.org is laying out for you, right? If they don't have your specific type, well, if you know what the hierarchy is, like, okay, this is a web page. Well, what kind of web page is it? Well, it's an article. In this article, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about these images. There's a video on the page. There's an article on the page, the article disambiguation. Like, start mapping out how the page is. Now, this doesn't have to be done on every page, but what I would do is on your home page and your top level primary pages that make money, I would take the time or spend the money, right, which is just accrued time, on getting that done. So I can have a higher indexation rate and a higher probability that I'm going to rank faster. Because if I can't get indexed and I can't work my way up the ladder with links and traffic and clicks and optimization, like if I can't even get in the lineup, if I can't even get in the top 100, that's a problem. You know, like you have to be seen, right? At least for rankings to generate traffic, clicks, and phone calls. So I went outside the scope. I had to, if you watch me, you know I can't help myself. I had to nerd out, right? I just had to. I just had to. I can't help myself, right? I tried to make, see, to me, this is foundational, but I talk to business owners and they're like, wow, this is way over my head. And I'm like, dang, man, like, I only talked about, you know, how to optimize header tags. So I tried to explain it as easy and as simple. I shared examples with you. I talked about schema, structuring, product structuring. Is there anything that you need me to cover for you? Right, it's late in the day. I've been working. I landed a client the other day on Thursday. I drove to Connecticut to seal that ink up. That's a partnership agreement. Drove up to Connecticut, made the deal. We've been just grinding out. So it's been a long slog. I got back this morning and we've been just going nonstop, boys and ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let me go through your questions and then we'll wrap this up because I want to see little Chris. It's been a long day. So let's go. Please go over the near me. How do you rank for that? You rank for near me plus variations of terms by having a high enough density on the pages that you can rank for it. The probability of you just ranking for the word near me is highly unlikely. But ranking for clogged drain removal specialist near me is likely. So what do? Well, on your plumbing page where you're internally linked to your drain page, right, because it's in a silo for a specific city or state, you're going to have a high enough density of near me because remember this, you know when you put up a page, You know how you have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 words? And you know how your pages rank for more than one keyword? It'll even rank for keywords that aren't even next to each other. Well, what Google will do is if there's some type of volume, or if somebody has found you, or you've shown up in a SERP related to a way that somebody is searching, like a drain cleaner near me, or a near us drain cleaner, or a near me plumber, like they'll start giving you ranking positions for keywords because it's on your page. If you want to rank for it, it has to be on your page. And then it needs to be on your page in a high enough density that you actually show up for it. That's how you rank for it. Like, now, would I just create a page that's plumber near me? Nah, not in 2023. If it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, yes, I would have. Because it was popping. I didn't magically pull that out of the air. Go look at Yelp's website. Like, I always since the beginning of time have looked and then implemented. That's it. Right? Now, I might test and find out better ways to do it with less steps. Like, my only goal now is doing. Have you ever heard the story about, like, there was a woman or a man. There was a man and his water heater was broken, right? And he called the first guy. Then he called the second guy, and he called the third guy. Finally, he called the best guy. But he told him, you know, I'll be able to figure it out. I'll be in and out of there. It's $5,000. The guy showed up. He walked over. He knocked on it. And he said, all right, $5,000. But the system worked, right? You ever hear that story? I instead of checking this thing and checking this pipe and checking this and checking the word counts and this and doing this, I want to know exactly what are the specific things that I can do in order to get a result. I don't want to do 100 different things or throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. I want to do a consistent thing that's a repeatable result. That's it. And I want to do the least amount for the most amount of effort, like the most amount of push. I'm sure you guys do too, and gals. Michael, great to see you. Josh says, I just got here. My bad, no problem. Brent, Big Chris, what's up, John? Good to see you. John Brent, it might be a different account, but it's good to see you, brother. I could have swore though, man, I before I figured out something with the Google business profiles and I took down the 36 that I had Google my business profiles in every city, big city, almost every big city. Well, 36 of them I had, right? That were some variation of Chris Palmer, or Palm Star, and SEO or marketing, all different variations, right? What I did is I went and took them all down, right? Now, I could have swore, might have been somebody different, but man, there was the oddest message on one of those one time, you know, and it was pertaining to something that was a massive miscommunication, right? And it was completely cleared up. But anyway, it could have been someone else. Moving on. Question for later. Have a simple HTML JavaScript website to rank on Google, or do I use WordPress? I would use whichever is easiest for you. If you have a simple HTML JavaScript website, in my opinion, I think you will reach success faster. However, WordPress can be a good option. It's certainly one of the preferred CMSs. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people like it, because it's a CMS. It's a content management system. It's very easy to navigate once you learn it, right? Like, it just works. So, but if you want to use like a FileZilla or an FTP manager or something to, you know, create your content and you know how to do it and you can deploy it and it works great. I love HTML sites. I literally have probably 327 HTML sites. In fact, I have a list. I can't show you that list, but right on the other screen, which I probably just showed, I have 219 that are static HTML. And those are straight websites. When you look at them, they're bootstrap. It's CSS and HTML. And I think there's some JS on there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Moving on. So whatever's easiest for you is the answer, brother. NSM, good to see you, Sarge. Oh, hey, listen, 26 people here. Only right now, okay? From now until the 31st, I'm doing buy one, get one free. I usually don't pitch, but I'm on my service wave right now, right? Because it's Christmas. I only did it for my YouTube Mastermind members. Buy one, get one free, 50% off right now. I'm not going to mention it again unless you're a Mastermind member. Use the code YouTube Mastermind on guest posts. They're buy one, get one free right now only. Any flavor you want. DR20s to 30s, 30s to 35s. The guest post 5-packs are buy one, get one. Or however you want to look at it, 50% off. That's my best offer I've ever did. Only for the end of the year, plus because I missed the Black Friday wave. Just for you guys right now. YouTube Mastermind in all caps is the coupon code. They're called guest post 5-packs. YouTube Mastermind 50% off. Have at it. Anyway, moving on. And if there's something that you would like, only for the people that are on right this second, tell me what you want and I'll give you a coupon right now. If there's something you want to try, CTR service, maps, whatever it is, tell me right now before I jump off. As a Merry Christmas to you, stick until the end. I'll give you a code right now while it's fresh on my mind. If not, I'm about to jump off here. Agency San Diego. I have a question about Google Maps organic side. Can I rank a listing on Map Pack even if I don't show an address? And why does some listing go up and down on the Map Pack? Okay. Can you rank? I quit chewing, by the way. For all my favorite fans, right? I'm being very facetious. For my best fans, the people that just love me the most. Now you don't have anything. I quit. Right? Anyway. So now I wonder what'll be next. Now to answer your question, brother. Can you rank a listing even if you don't show your address? Of course you can. There's lots of businesses out there that have service area businesses that hide their address and they rank wonderfully, right? They're first in the pack. However, these are generally within industries or niches or categories or in SERPs that's what Google is rewarding. If you see a mixed three-pack where it's one business is showing a result and two of them aren't, this is a potential SERP that you'll be able to rank. Now, if I look at the top 20 results and all of them except for one, the guy that's number 14 has a service area business, the probability of you ranking your service area business is very low. All right. But can you do it? Yes. Now, if you're in a SERP where it's all people showing their address, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by hiding it if everybody is showing their physical address. But can it be done? Yes. Now, why is there fluctuations? Again, only from observation and from doing is the only way that I can even speak on this. But in my opinion, all right, I'm not Google, right, is what I'm getting at. In my opinion, the fluctuations change by updates in and out. Right now, I think that update with the time issue is going back and forth. Listen, and Michael's in my group. I did a test on this. I was working on a LA chiropractor. I just showed him in another video. But a year ago, I did a test showcasing, hey, the business during the closed hours drops and it goes up when they're open. Makes sense, right? Because I think that has something to do with the way that people run ads, right? I think it has the fluctuation of clicks has to do with the way people run their bots. I think the fluctuation of rank has to do with just the amount of people on the web. I think the fluctuation of the search results has to do with the second that you click the button and get a result. I think there's many factors, but generally it has to do with the open time, the amount of clicks, the amount of traffic, right? There's things that are going on. We don't know. It could be bots, ads, YouTube, people coming over from YouTube. It could be people coming from social. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's trying to claw. It's just like a madhouse, right? That's why I love it. So there's going to be fluctuations. There's new players, there's old players all fighting, right? It's a fight of the mind, right? It's the best. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. There's nothing that makes me happier other than little Chris more than the fight, because it's you, this versus them, right? And I love that. With that being said, let's move on to the next question. Thoughts on slamming a Google business profile with GSA SER? My thoughts, the first thing that popped in my head was insanity. The next thing that comes to my mind is GSA isn't okay. So people will see, I make videos for everybody, right? I might show a piece that's for a test. I might show something that I'm doing currently. I might show something that is in a high competition market, right? Now, if generally for clients, I'm going to utilize GSA for press releases and for citations and directories. In some cases, and to the actual maps link, right? In some rare cases, depending on the SERP, depending on what's going on, the age, we might build it to products. We might build it to the business site. We might build it to a secondary listing or an unverified listing. I think there's a place for it, but for 80% of business owners, my best advice would be to build it to citations or PR. If you're going to build it at all, it's not for everybody. Like, you don't buy GSA, buy the list from me and just fire it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could do that and you're going to build 500,000 links, 1,000,000 links, verified links, right? But I don't, that's not what I would recommend. Build it to your citations, spread it out, build it to your PR, build it to the maps URL, build it to Google. All right. Press release coupon. So for the press release, 5%, right? Premium press releases, I can't do a big one. The press releases are the tightest margin thing because it's something that I buy stock like everybody does, right? But I buy enough stock to be able to get a low enough price that I could beat the guys on Fiverr and Upwork and a lot of other places, right? That's why I'm able to offer it for a fair cost. So for basic or for premium, I could give 5% to you right now. It was a Christmas special I just did for, he's a friend of mine, his name's Ron. He just asked, and I'm like, dude, I can't really do it, but you know what I'll do? I'll give you 5%. So since I said I would do it, here's 5%. Go and put SEO Masterminds with an S in all caps, 5% off press releases. All right. My brother's going to kill me. He's like, no more coupons, dude. I'm like, dude, I like to give people stuff. It makes me feel good. We just worked on a scratch off. So I'm going to have something fun for you guys in a day or two. I was supposed to meet with I just realized I was supposed to meet with my social media girl. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to do it though. I'm going to tell her tomorrow night. I'm supposed to meet with her about doing some things for me. Damn. Consulting. That, I was standing in the shower thinking about the consultation, right? The only thing that I'm not willing to discount any longer is consultation. I cannot discount my time. I can't do it. That's the only thing that I can't do, brother. I'm willing to answer anything you need right here, but I in my opinion, that time during the day is worth a lot to me. Maybe I might do something. If you honestly, I don't know your predicament. If you really, really need help with something, go to the site. We have live chat between 11 and 3. There's live support. Between 11 and 3 Eastern Standard Time. Put a chat. Say, hey, I will never forget this name, Mega Doofus, right? Right. Hey, Mega Doofus from YouTube. I talked to Chris on YouTube. I'll give you a discount code, but it's not open for everyone. If you really need the assistance, I'll be happy to help you out at a discounted rate. I'll give you a half hour or something. We can do something. All right. But reach out on there between 11 and 3 Eastern Standard Time between Monday and Friday. All right. We also have a ticketing system. Again, it's the same hours. She's a part-time support woman. All right. Press release. I gave you that. 1 hour, 1 hour coupon. Again, that's the only thing, brother. I can't. You want to know, here's another interesting thing about the consultations. I was going to completely stop it. But I think that it's very, very helpful. There's so many people, like there's so many business owners that not a lot. Let's not get crazy, but I talk to a few people a week, 2-3 people a week. And those 2-3 people a week that I speak with, like I'll go back or they'll come back and they'll email me and they'll say, hey, or they'll call me and be like, man, that helped. Or they'll call me through. Like I had this dude. He was a garage door guy. Out of the blue, send me a text just like, oh, hey, thanks, man. I had this other guy. He does helicopter rides in New York City, right? Him out of the blue messaged me, hey, I deployed that stuff, dude. It turned everything around for me. Dude, I love that. But yeah, that's the only thing, man, I can't do. All right, my time, I just can't. But anyway, moving on. Can you provide good phone number to contact you? Yeah, I noticed I had an issue with the 800 number. The 800 number is going to be forwarded to me at first to see how many calls are actually coming through. If you look in the bottom of this video, there's an 800 number. That's going to be the 800 number forever. It's completely toll-free. You can call from anywhere. I hate WhatsApp. So I have a 1-800 number that's unlimited minutes. That's the 1-800 number. It's in the bottom of the video. It's 1855. I forget the rest. I'm going to have it connected to me, but in the future, it's going to be connected to Tammy is her name. All right. Tammy's, her only job is support. So, that was a big thing that I was missing in the old services, but I'm trying to wipe that behind me and move forward. So, I want to nail that down and make sure people are handled properly. That was one thing I was lacking, only because I was overworked and I didn't have enough time, but took care of that. Could you provide so it's an 800 number. Feel free to call between Monday and Friday, 11 and 3. All right. Do you put photo gallery in the same silo as pages, or do you have a separate area for galleries? In my opinion, the images should be relevant to the page that it is on. Okay. Now, those image galleries will have their own sitemap. They'll have their own section. The same with authors. Okay. So hopefully that helps you out. Any tips on how you handle photos? We took care of that. Mega Doofus, where can I buy a list? If you're interested in a GSA list, I don't know if you saw the new format since we're here and you guys are asking about it. I'm grateful that you're asking, because then I try not to ever blatantly pitch, right? That's not the goal of the channel. It's an educational channel. However, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to tell you, right? If you go to seo.chrispalmer.org, right? I don't know what your login is, but on the left-hand side here, when you log in, there's a menu now. I thought I still had it up, but I don't. I don't want to log into my main dashboard. But on the left-hand side, it's no longer hard to find things. On the left-hand side, what you will find is the services. You'll see GSA list. It's just a simple form. It takes you right to the order form. Boom, done. That's where you get the list. Then what one of my assistants will do, her name is Andrea. What Andrea will do is she will send you a pCloud link with a password. And she changes the password periodically, so I don't know what the password is at this time. But she will be more than happy. I assure you, it's the best lists lists that are out on the market right now, and I guarantee you it's the biggest. I know for a fact. I know it's the best lists that are out on the market, and I know it's the biggest that are out on the market. There's no question. There's no question. And the best part is it's the cheapest. So I have the biggest, the best, and the cheapest. It's I know it's the cheapest. All right, so that's that, and I stand by that. Let's keep rolling here. Enough about me. Don't you guys have any questions besides services? I don't like talking about. Chris Palmer SEO is the best SEO. Man, thank you, Jordan Digital. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, man. I'm glad to help you, brother. Green Lawn Augusta says, thank you, brother. I'll check him in then. Is Web 2.0 still a good way for building out your footprint, or do you have a better way nowadays? That's just one piece of the puzzle. You know, we still build 20 to 50, usually 20. Everybody gets Web 2s. Almost everybody, depending on what the project is. That's foundational links. You know, it's all wildly dependent on budget, right, Michael? Now that I see who's asking me, I'll expand on this. So what I'll do is I'll have our good friend Kay, unless he's being silly again. He gets interesting sometimes, but I love him. I'll have him build out either 20 to 25, sometimes 50, depending on budget, that will be branded. That's my branded foundation. In those Web 2.0s, we're going to list name, address, phone number, and description of the business. The links that are inside of there will go to the homepage and to all of the top level product pages. Okay. On top of that, we're going to do the citations. We'll do our directories. So that's 100 directories. That's business listings. And then anywhere between 20 to 40 citations, depending on the country. All right. The next step is data aggregation submission. If it's not available in your country, then generally what we're going to do is we're going to hit more citations. The very next step is going to be our comment blast. So generally that'll be 50,000, 60,000 comment links that are no follow and authoritative. I don't care what the category is. The next thing after that, depending on budget, is going to be image sites and video sites and podcast. All right. That's that. And then we start building out our guest post, PBN, link inserts. And then now we have homepage. We've been building those like crazy depending on the client. That's it, brother. All right. And then, of course, don't let me forget, but this is, again, phase one. It's going to be the PR too, which PR contains, of course, name, address, phone number. All right. Chris, thank you for sharing. What is the setup? What is your setup for videos? It's OBS Studio. It's just OBS. There's two. There's Streamlabs or OBS. Now, the gentleman that does the SEO video show, his name's Dre. Great guy, great show, right? He utilizes a screen or streamcast. It's a upfront investment, but it produces a high quality result. I am what my girlfriend calls me sometimes, a cheapskate, or I consider the term frugal. I'm a very frugal gentleman, so if somebody has a high quality product that's very low cost or free, I'm going to utilize that. Hence, plus I like customization, which Screencast or Streamcast has all the customization, but OBS does too. So I utilize OBS. Now on top of that, Streamlabs would be great for a beginner because it has some customizations and it's like right out of the box, ready to rock. Now on top of that, if you want even easier and you want to waste money or spend money, right? Or write off, I don't know. If you need a $200 write off, then I would utilize Restream, which I bought a lifetime from them. No, it was a year. I bought a year for half price. So I think that's winding down. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. Thank you for everything. You can tell you do this from your heart. Thank you with all gratitude. It's my pleasure, brother. The 3D computer man. So you sell 60 citations. Why do the Fiverr people try to sell 300? Are yours just the top? Because there's a difference between a citation and a directory. Okay? And then on top of that, there's the price differential. The reason why my price went up and the difference is because the sites that they're doing are either Web 2.0s or instant verified citations where you just add your business. Those are directories. When you have to do a double verify in order to get it placed, like a Foursquare and these kinds of places, price goes up. Now, my competitors for that list that we offer charge $2 a unit. Yes, Web20 Ranker does them for $1.50, but I smoke them all. I'm doing them for what, 50 cents a piece? Right? So that's why. Now, if you're interested in a much larger list, I have the directories and the foundation links, and I can make it into one package, and it'll be dirt cheap for you. But that's not necessarily what business owners want, right? So I have all flavors available, but that's why they do that, because they got the biggest list. They're in a race to the bottom. I'm playing a different game. I'm trying to offer the best stuff for the cheapest price, right? I want top tier stuff like DR30s for a fair price, the best citations for a fair price, the best directories for a fair price, right? The best CTR, the best map service, the best. I want the best for the cheapest. The piece I was missing was the support, but I assure you we got that hammered now. I have a woman that sits there 11 to 3 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, every day except for Saturday, Sunday, 11 through 3. And then they have implicit instructions that any unanswered message, go in there and crack it in the news store. In the news store. That's the piece I was missing. But we're getting to it. The next thing that I'm going into optimize before the new year is going to be the mastermind. I'm about to put the kibosh to a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to shrink down. I'm going to shrink the price, shrink the group time. I'm going to take it from 6 hours to 4 hours, make it one group. I have a plan, but that's next. That's my next big goal. First thing was handling the store. We fixed up Proxy Pixie. I want to offer some more tiers of pricing. Also offer some discounts for Mastermind members and whomever wants bulk. So that'll be a step. The next thing will be the fixing up the Mastermind. Also, too, I'm going to launch a blog. I want to start sharing my case studies. So I'm excited for some changes coming up here. And then to anybody that rubs me the wrong way, I'm just kicking them out. Sometimes I dread going. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. I started to do the mastermind. And after Chase, I was the next one to start the SEO stuff. I believe. And I am technically the #1 SEO mastermind. Look it up. But with that being said, I want to shrink the group and make it one, and I want to make it one of the most affordable ways for the business owners that can't afford to pay me for an entire hour. I want to be able to offer group coaching or group consulting. And that is the reason why I started it. So I could help, because I noticed I had a lot of people that wanted help in other countries, but $100, it means a lot to them at the beginning stages of their business. And that's why I started the group. And I want to go back to that route, like, hey, I want to help these guys, so, and women too, of course, guys, gals, everybody, anybody, I don't care. And I want to be more free flowing with some of the testing that I'm doing. Yes, I want to keep my best stuff for the testing group or for the mastermind, but a lot of it I just want to give away. So that's going to be the objective for the new year. Mastermind is my next big project. The store took me a very long time to rebuild. Plus we were, another thing that sets us apart is, other than the PR, everything's in-house. And some of the foundational links, but those are close friends of mine. Like, I can almost consider that in-house. So like, we have an in-house team, like we do all the services we do, like the guest posting, like those are our sites. Like, a lot of that stuff is mine. Like, I'm not a middleman. That's why I'm able to offer a good service for a fair price, because it's mine. You know, that was the difference. So I was building a team around the services that I was providing for my clients so I could white label the service to other guys like me and women like me. People like you. Now you know. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. I was just talking about you. I was like, man, I gotta meet the social media lady, but I'm freaking. I was like, but I'm not. I'm going to bed in a few minutes here. As soon as I wrap up these last couple questions. Is it worth building? Okay, here we go. So I see one. Chris. Experience in GMB attacks. Man, this is so tiny. You guys and gals probably don't notice this, but I wanted to treat myself. I think it was a 12-inch monitor. So what I saw, I go to Walmart. No, I went to Best Buy and I walk in, being the nerd that I am, and I'm looking at all the gadgets and all the stuff, and I see this monitor, this curved monitor, 32-inch curved monitor. I had to have it. So I got this giant screen now. It lights my glasses up, right? And but it was hard to see these little words here. So because if I blow it up, it makes the screen look weird. But anyway, now I can read it. GMB attacks and poor links need urgent advice for my businesses. Credibly and online visibility. What should I do? All right. What makes you feel that you're experiencing a GMB attack? How do you know? Is there reviews? Or did Google knock you down because of something that you did? Right? Are you paying the piper? Are you paying Google ads? Are you in a category that's Google guaranteed? Also, are you in a SERP that they changed where the GMB 3-pack used to be at the top and now they shifted it down? Are you in the pro list? Right? There's been a lot of changes in the last 90 days. So are we 100% it's an attack? And if so, how do you know? How do you know? Okay, so that's one thing. The next piece. Yes, have a great night, Don. The next piece is it worth building out 300? Okay, where is it? No, it's not worth building out the 300 citations because they're not citations. You're also getting directories. Okay. Then on top of it, they're all over. Can you build them out? Sure. A lot of those aren't going to index or show up in search results, which is where GSA would come in. I think you'll have to do a lot more legwork and it's going to end up costing you in the long run, but it's completely up to you, my friend. Hey, if you can get somebody to build 300 of them for $5, go for it. Just don't point them to your homepage. All right. Chris, can local service pages have the same content, or can local service pages have the same content or unique content? Yes, they can. Depending on the age of the website will determine how often or how long those pages take to get indexed or stay indexed. If you have a really old website, it works very, very well. If you have a new website, it doesn't work as well. I think that having slightly unique content is in your best interest. All right. Oh, I need a drink. All right, the next step here. Okay, so the GMB attacks. All right, so like I mentioned before, like how would you ever know that? And then your business's credibility and online visibility. Credibility is built by users interacting and by building true authority online on multiple platforms, not just your website. Okay? These are huge, very broad questions, brother. And I want to give you an answer and I want to help you, but they're so broad. Like there's countless things that I could tell you, just to be honest with you. The attack issue, I would love to understand, other than you getting weird reviews, I would love to know how you know, right? And then what should I do? What can you do is the question. And then Google reviews are popping back up also after they're removed from the GMB page. So they're just invisible. Google reviews are popping back up also after they're removed. Yes, that is nothing that is so common. And two, on top of it, there could be Google reviews on your page that aren't visible, that are actually there, that could be hurting your profile. On top of that, there's countless things people can do, and if they keep messing with it, it can cause a reclassification, right? Or at least a re-verification. It can cause consistent headache, right? But as long as your business is legitimately named and everything is on the up and up and you know how to properly optimize, there's countless channels out there. My good friend Darren Shaw has countless ultra beginner videos to cover those types of things. Like, it's out there, right? Like, there's tons and tons of videos. Suspended account many times. Well, that tells me that there's underlying issues, right? Could be karma issues, right? It could be industry issues. Did you stomp on somebody? Are you not doing something by the books? Did you name your business wrong? Are you manipulating search tactics? Are you pushing reviews? Like, there's a reason, right? Or there's a personal reason why that's happening. I'm sure, I'm sure you know what it is, right? So without seeing it, it'd be hard for me to come up with a true answer for you to walk away with, in all honesty. All right? What are you going to do? Hopefully get on a video and get on a video. I love maps for business owners. But there's a massive reason, not just this, but also to do with organic rankings and ads, and there's tons of reasons. But like I mentioned before, I had 36 map listings in all the major cities. Not 36 in each, but 36 total. And I removed every single one of them. All of them. Just saying. Personally. Right? So, what's your category? Who'd you step on? What did you do? What personal things? What's your karma debt? Like, there could be countless reasons why this could be happening. But without knowing the particulars, I cannot give you something to walk away with, my friend. All right? So, that was the very last question. I love you guys. I appreciate your time. I'm going to trim the last half off, just the question answer stuff, but I love you guys and gals. I appreciate your time. I hope that I've been able to help you with certain questions related to content structuring, blog structuring, what content to put, how much content. I hope that I was able to lay everything out for you tonight. If there's anything I can ever help you with, please take the time, head on over to chrispalmer.org for any and all of your SEO needs. If you have a quick question, something you just want me to answer, leave it in the comment section below. I answer all the questions as long as they show up in my notifications, right? As long as they show up in notifications within the first 24 hours, I answer them all, right? Thank you so much for your time. I love you. Many blessings, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.